Hi subscribers, hi everyone, it's Sloan Rhodes here with your Spiritual Self-Mastery class, Ego and Heart, for the week of December 2nd, 2018. Well, I hope everyone had an interesting week in some fashion last week. I know that it was an interesting week for me. Well, let's go ahead and get started with this week. So today I'm going to be drawing from the Colette Baron Reid Enchanted Map Oracle card deck. And I'm going to get one card for the week, looking at the overall energies for the week and how the ego may try to distract us from the present moment within that card, and also how the heart-centered energies can explore that energy. And then also another card for what we can expect or look forward to regardless. Let's just go ahead and get started. So, what is the energy for the week? What's the guidance for the week? Okay, here we go. Mountain. What an ominous looking card. I don't know if you can see that. It's a lot of reflection here. Number 6. Well, I do like the fact that it is a number 6 energy, because it does indicate that we are finding some level of success here in perhaps surmounting what may have seemed insurmountable. We do still have a lot of lunar energy here, so not everything is completely clear yet, but that's okay. You know, we're making progress. Now, the ego may try to distract us here as we look at this with fear. You know, I'm never going to make it. There's too many obstacles in my way. I've been climbing and climbing and climbing, and I just can't seem to overcome. Just give up. You know, it's just not even worth it. And you fall back into the feeling like you're... the ego likes to keep us in, where I'm a victim. Nothing ever goes right for me. Everyone else is scampering up the mountain, and yet for me, once again, the rock slide occurs, or there's yet another obstacle in my way. But remember, the ego keeps us in that energy, or tries to distract us from the present moment by increasing that level of adrenaline within our body. And when the adrenaline rises, fear and anxiety rise, and we can't help but be on guard. We can't help but feel as though we have to protect ourselves. And that's what's kept us safe for eons, right? But as we move into newer consciousness and newer energy upon the planet, the heart-centered energies are wanting to take over more, to remind us that we are safe and secure no matter what occurs, because we are more than our physical selves. So let's talk about how the heart-centered energies of the heart might explore this. The heart might say, wow, look at the shape of that. Look at how this obstacle is showing up in a different way than it has in the past, because you have newer consciousness around it. You're able to look at it and say, oh, look at that. What feels like an obstacle, again, kind of like last week, building upon last week, that bill comes around again. Or it's not the bill, but something else, right? So you think, oh, I just finally paid off that bill, and then you get an offender bender, you know, and then like, another mountain to climb. And the heart says, it's showing up differently. It's not the same one. What happens when we get caught up in the ego, as we all do, is that we tend to lump everything together. The ego lumps it all together. And it's too big. You know, we feel like we can't ever get ahead. But when you look at things in isolated form, so a little fender bender occurs, and the ego says, it's always the same, I can't get ahead, and the heart says, oh, look at this. Another opportunity to look at a situation that in the past might have sent me right down into that hole of fear and worry, and to say, look at this. I'm now in greater mastery of my finances. I've already paid off those bills. And I can explore this one with a greater sense of who I am, more grounded energy. You know, that's just one example. Of course, it can come in a multitude of ways. But the mountain usually does feel to the ego that it's an obstacle. But the heart says, what an amazing journey. You know, you're not trying to climb the mountain in order to get to the other side. You're just climbing what feels like a mountain from the heart's perspective, because that's what we've chosen in this moment. Now, I know that it's controversial to consider that we choose every moment. So if that triggers you, just rather than feeling as though you're choosing it, because in your mind will be like, why would I choose this? This is horrible. It's a terrible circumstance. But you choose these things from my perspective so that you can master many of the patterns. So the heart says, look at this. Look at this mountain. Look at all the places where I can explore. I can go in through here. I can go up through there. I can go around. What might be on the other side of the mountain? And you play in the possibility. You play in the present moment. Look how smooth this surface is. Look how rough this surface is. Look at my foot moving forward here. And you're doing it with more awareness of the moment. The heart is all about the moment, the present moment. This moment, this moment, this moment. The ego, I think you've heard me say it before in the past, will thrive in the insurmountable. This is my life. I can't get ahead. No, this is your moment to explore it from a greater sense of awareness of the moment. Look at this. The earth around my fingers, if you're claiming, in terms of physicality, but in just terms of seeming obstacles. This is just life. Life comes and it goes. And the ego is like a spotlight. The ego will flash in on one particular area of your life and say, look at all these terrible things. Meanwhile, what is in seeming darkness to you is all the wonderful things that are going on around you. The flow of traffic, the people who come and go, who smile at you, who offer a helping hand, who say, are you okay? The birds, flying by, and it's all amazing. But the ego says, no, this one thing is the thing that is keeping me from achieving some level of happiness, security, safety, contentment. And the heart says, look around. But it can be very, very difficult, because when the ego turns that bright light on and focuses in on one particular thing, it does tend to focus our attention, but that's the ego's job. That's what the ego's trying to do. And as we transcend the ego in every single moment that we can, then you can, be more awakened within each moment. Remember, no one is an awakened being all the time. They're awakened in each and every moment. You're not an enlightened being sometime out there. You can achieve enlightenment through your awareness of the moment. It's a lot to think about. But it may be difficult this week. It may, the ego may come in strongly, as it did, probably for many of you last week. And so rather than beat yourself up, like, dang it, I just spent, 2 hours crying about this. And then I've often heard this, people say, but then through law of attraction, I'm not supposed to spend my time thinking about that. No, that's denial. It's okay to process the emotions as they come in, to wail at the moon and say, why me? But then when you come out of it, say, look at that. I got in that little boat ride with the ego for, an hour or a day or a week. And now I'm back here, and I can remind myself that I'm safe, I'm secure, that I love me, I take care of me. I am more than this particular circumstance or this particular incarnation. And just you can play with it more. It doesn't mean that you don't experience the sadness or the drama or the pain and the suffering. That's part of the awakening, let's say, within the moment. You can praise yourself rather than beat yourself up. It's not about never having moments where you dance with the ego. It's about recognizing more and more consciously that that is what you're doing and that you are more than that. And the heart says, look how you can explore the ego from a place where you aren't beating yourself up. You can say, look at that. I really got caught up in my ego. I was so sad. I was so scared. And I really, felt awful. And now I can say, look at that. I'm feeling more aware, and I can kind of see it from a different perspective now. Don't beat yourself up. That's just more of that same energy. Feel what you feel. Process it. And then what tends to happen is that the next time it comes around, and it will, patterns always repeat until we can, let's say, master that particular pattern, and then a new one comes in for opportunities for growth and enlightenment. Rather than beat yourself up, you say, yes, here it is again. Another opportunity. You're allowed to express your feelings and move through it, because what tends to happen is the next time it comes around for a shorter period of time. It may feel a bit more intense within that shorter period of time, but you snap out of it faster. You recognize the ego for what it is faster. And we're achieving some level of success around this. There's that expression, strange expression, but how do you eat an elephant? Well, one bite at a time. And when you are doing that, it's not about you're trying to consume the entire elephant, that you are enjoying. It's a gross analogy, I'm sorry, but or a metaphor, but as you eat, as you take every bite, as you take every step, every obstacle, seeming obstacle, that is your life in that moment. That is your moment to reconnect to self, to explore more of ways that you can find the enlightenment, the God, the love in that moment. Where is the love in this moment? There is no love. I hate this moment. Okay, well, just having that thought, even asking the question, where is the love in this moment, begins to allow you to retrain the brain that there is another option. There's another way that is outside of the egoic energy. All right, let's get one more card. But again, it may not be easy just because we have all that lunar energy here. And you can kind of see it in some ways, as I illustrated the example earlier of the spotlight. The ego will have a very bright light on one particular thing and says, look at this, look at this, look at this. And then you're like mesmerized, like, yes, this is the thing that is in the way of my happiness, But when we've all had those moments when, the thing, whatever it may be, the situation, the circumstance, the relationship is over, you're like, why did I get so caught up in that? But it can feel very, very, very real. So don't discount it. Don't pretend it's not happening. Don't beat yourself up when it does happen. But as soon as you can, you come back into the light, you come back into the love, you come back into the consciousness and the awareness, and you say, look at that. Whew, that was intense. And you wipe away the tears, right? And you start again from a place that's more expanded, Sometimes it'll feel like one step back, one step forward, two steps back. It'll feel that way. It's not actually possible in terms of the universal energy, but it'll feel that way to us. And but you're always expanding, expanding, expanding. Once you expand, you can't actually contract again. It just sometimes it'll feel like that. Okay, let me get one more card. What can we expect regarding? Okay, this one's on the table. I'll go with this. Cleaning house, number 1037. Well, it looks like, for many of you, it may be that you are decluttering, you are actually moving house even, or preparing to move house. But remember, as I feel this card in conjunction with the mountain, it's like there's a mountain of what may feel like a mountain of opportunity from the heart's perspective. From the ego perspective, may feel like a mountain of obstacles. But you're cleaning house. You're clearing out. As I mentioned, the patterns come around, but they tend to come around for shorter periods of time, and then you're cleaning it out. You're awakening within each and every moment that you're able to, and you're cleaning house. So again, some of you might actually be moving, cleaning house, getting things in order. It may be for many of you that your work life has slowed down, and so you're cleaning. You spend more time. There's the expression, what does a fisher person do when they're not fishing? They mend nets, and so it may be like this type of period for you. It's not uncommon at this time of year. Things can slow down at work, and you spend time planning for the next year, cleaning out, preparing. And for some of you, of course, you may be getting ready for the holidays and actually cleaning house. But there is this idea of the ending here. You're coming up against the 10 energy during this particular week coming up, where you are about to embark upon something new. You're not climbing the mountain forever, even though sometimes the ego may say you are. But here you are coming to an ending of some aspect of it, so that you can reach a new shelf, let's say, if you want to look at it like a hierarchy, a new tier, where things are clear, and you can begin yet again to enjoy and explore from a place that's less judgmental, that things should be different, and more joyful or excited or eager for what's next, And that way when the ego comes around again, you're like, hello, old friend, I see you. Thank you for the opportunity to become more aware of my heart, to love myself more, to love this moment more, for the opportunities to know that I am more than this circumstance or this situation or this relationship. I don't think I can stress enough how important it is not to beat yourself up or to deny what you are feeling or experiencing. Allow those emotions to come forth. My work with you is never to spend time wallowing in those deep emotions, but to come through them, to the other side of them. Yes, you feel them. And then you come out, but don't deny them and don't pretend. The ego wants to distract you from the present moment. And you don't want to distract yourself away from the emotions necessarily. You can, you're not really meant to wallow. You feel what you feel, and then you can do whatever you can to process it, and whatever that means for you. For some of you, it may be distracting. But try your best not to distract yourself as soon as those emotions come up, out of fear that law of attraction dictates that you're not supposed to. It doesn't work like that. That's denial. Feel it, process it, move through it and beyond it. And the next time it comes around, again, it tends to come around for less periods of time. But don't beat yourself up. We all go through it. And just celebrate, praise yourself for how much more awareness you have. What a thrilling adventure it is to have these patterns come in and then to be on the other side of them and say, look at that. That felt like an obstacle, but now I see it was an opportunity to grow and learn and expand and to be more self-loving. To know that that didn't mean that I'm unloved or I don't deserve happiness. That's not what it meant at all. It meant that I am the source of my happiness. I am the source of all, because I am a differentiated aspect of the all that is. So something to play with. Anyway, I hope that you found that helpful. I wish you much love as always. Oh, and I do have my holiday special up, 15% off all of my video readings and 15% off all of my gift certificates. So if you're looking for a gift idea for the holidays, you may want to consider that. The code is Holiday 2018. There's a link below and a link here. And I wish you much love.